the harbor, and we plug it in just like you'd plug in your cell phones. Now our charging cables on your cell phones are usually, super thin, pretty flexible. The ones we have here, the biggest one is about this thick. And it plugs in right here is for our 24 volt system. We also have a 240 volt system, and that is how this thing runs. It is on 240 volts of direct current electricity. Now, as we spin around here, as I said, we have a very slow submarine. So it takes us a little bit to get all 160 tons of us spun around in a circle. Each one of those thrusters that we have to go forward and back has 20 horsepower. That gives us a total of 80 horsepower to move 160 tons. For context, your average Honda Civic has closer to about 100 to 120 horsepower. Alright, we've spun around here. Alright, finishing up that spin now. Port side, you're going to see the Polyopono, or the Ridge of Life. Now, some of the corals you see out here, the lobe coral, those ones look like lumps of wet sand. Also have some cauliflower and brain coral, those are appropriately named.
So, things to them?
Now, starboard side, we're going to see those Japanese reefs coming in here. We are actually going a little bit of a tailwind right now. We're going with the current, and the current is pretty strong today. There are some times when the current is so strong that we can't move. At that point, we can't operate because it's unsafe. When all four of our thrusters are going forward and the submarine is still moving backwards, that's a little unsafe and dangerous. So here we are over here on our starboard side. Now, not only do we have some ropes tied onto our structures that tell us, oftentimes the fish will tell us what direction the current is going as well. Particularly those millet seed butterflies and those pennant butterfly fish. See, they both feed on phytoplankton. So they continuously swim up current so that they can eat because it comes right into there. Now, one of the more common fish you're going to see out here in Hawaii is the Hawaiian state fish. Anybody know how to say the Hawaiian state fish's name? I think I heard it. The Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a. Yes, the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a is the Hawaiian state fish. Yeah, it doesn't taste as good. It's too small. But we're going to turn and put the island of Oahu behind us and head offshore out into deeper waters. Thump, thump, thump. In fact, we might even be able to get down to 100 feet. You guys want to go 100 feet down? Yeah? If we do, you guys will be the next group to join the Triple Digit Club. You see, only 1/10 of 1% of people can say that they've ever been 100 feet below the ocean surface. That's 0.1%. That might sound crazy, but think about it. There's 8 billion people on this planet. How many people go down that far? You got us here at Atlantis, scuba divers, Navy SEALs, sometimes people in the mafia. They got special shoes. Kind of a permanent vacation with the fishes.
Can you take it off and see if it's recording?
Oh, we're sitting here at 88 feet. Gonna make our way down.
No recording?
Portside, see a piece of an old sailboat.
Yeah.
That's our landmark that lets us know we are approaching our next structure.
It looks more wider now.
Alright, I see our next structure at our pilot viewport. Now, speaking of exclusive clubs, our next reef comes from about a mile high, and they are a set of airplane wings.
Oh, wow.
Now, these are a set of wings from a Mitsubishi YS-11.
It's floating.
Now, we did put these down here on purpose, as we bought them from a company called Mid-Pacific Air. As they were going bankrupt, they decided that they needed to liquidate some of their assets as they were going under. There was something fishy in their company.
Embezzlement.
Yeah. Now, Portside Your Wing is going to be coming into view here in just a moment. And we did put these down here intentionally, however, we didn't put them down here intentionally. We put them down about 100 yards in that direction. Then in 1992, Hurricane Iniki came through, picked up our airplane off the bottom of the ocean, cartwheeled them around for a little bit, and this is roughly where they were left. Now our divers were diving, coming in on their days off, and picking up as much wreckage as they could, and it still took them about a month and a half to clean up all the wreckage. As it was strewn all about our dive site. So, that is Captain Rev using some of our high pressure air to help us lift up off the bottom. And as we do, you guys may have seen some seemingly random objects lying on the bottom of the ocean. Maybe a brick, maybe some rope, maybe something looks like a landmine. Well, I promise they're not landmines, they're landmarks. You see, our pilots have no GPS down here. We can't put in coordinates and drive to our different locations. We have to navigate solely based on a compass, those landmarks, and our memories. Now our pilots are so experienced we can drop them down anywhere on the dive site, and all they need is one or two of those landmarks, and they'll know where they are and what direction they need to go to get anywhere else on our dive site. Now over here on the right hand side, or starboard side, we're going to see our next ship. This is the YO257. YO257 stands for Yard Oiler, meaning this is basically a giant floating gas station. If you look in this box here, you can see there's a raccoon butterfly fish. And we see all those giant trevallies there. They are the apex predator on our dive site. Those trevallies.
The great white shark.
Now we're going to come up past these reefs and spin around, and as we do, you guys may have noticed that some of the colors are not nearly as vibrant as you guys may have hoped for. Well, that's because of a thing called color absorption. As we make our way down, eventually all light will be absorbed. However, one of the first spectrums that we lose is red. So if you're wearing something red, take a look at it. Not very red, is it? For those that don't, I have an example up here. The American flag. You guys know what color those stripes should be. They're not very red, are they?
Oh, orange.
That's because I painted them that way. No, here, I'll prove to you that I did not do that. By shining a light filtered only by the cabin air on them. And when I do, it turns right back to red. Now this is what they do in those nature documentaries. They take giant floodlights just out of frame and they shine them down on the reef to make those colors pop. Now, the opposite is true of ultraviolet light. So ultraviolet light can penetrate the water, so we're in basically a natural black light effect. So I see a green or yellow shirt back there. I see some pink flowers on a white shirt up here. If you're wearing something neon, you're kind of glowing. Check your fingernails if you painted your fingernails. My bright orange cones up here, they're kind of glowing in the natural black light effect that we have down here.
Cool.
Anything that would fluoresce under black light is fluorescent down here. That is why we can still see all of the colorful fish, but some of our corals, which would normally be red, are kind of brown or black. Alright, we've put around port side, here we are. Coming up to the YO257. Now once again, this is a retired military ship. Served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
I can't believe those 3 bills.
Now you can see some of those pennant butterfly fish get really close to these giant trevally. That's because they will clean those trevally along with another fish called a Hawaiian cleaner wrasse or Hinalea. And it's this little tiny one that's purple and gold, and it is covered in a mucus that allows it to go inside and the trevallies to not eat it.
Yeah, it is.
Butterfly fish.
It's like a boat, right?
But it's hard to see. I saw that on the video, but it's kind of hard to see.
Alright. Then you see the school of white fish with orange around their faces and fins. Those are my favorite fish. Those are called pyramid butterfly fish.
Oh, I saw those.
And they're an example of an indicator species, meaning they indicate how healthy the reef is, as they're one of the first fish to leave if the ecosystem starts to deteriorate. Now, do we have any scuba divers on board? Any divers? 0. Cool. That is the standard amount. Now, this is a very popular dive site because there's not just one, but 2 sunken ships, about 100 feet apart. We just saw the first one, that was the YO257. The next one we're going to see is the San Pedro. Now, San Pedro was an old fishing boat, and the type of fishing that it did was long line trawling. Now, trawling is not a very ethical way of fishing. What they do is they take huge nets, 1,000 feet deep by a few miles long, throw them in the water, and they drive. And drive and drive and drive, catching whatever comes into their path. Their target species was tuna, swordfish, marlin, those big pelagics up on the surface, but they catch everything, including sharks, turtles, stingrays. Then they have to haul in their nets and throw back anything they didn't want. Oftentimes they would throw